Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
The Metropolitan Police now say they believe around 255 people managed to escape the fire at Grenfell Tower last month. The official estimate of the dead and missing remains at approximately 80. Our Home Affairs correspondent Tom Simons is at Scotland Yard. And this is the first time we've had such a figure, Tom, isn't it? And there's been a lot of dispute about how many people were actually there that night.
There has, Sophie. I mean, here's the context. On the night of the fire, or just afterwards, it was claimed that about 500 to 600 people were living at Grenfell Tower. Well, the police today have said they think it's nearer 350, and some of them were not in on the night. So their figure for the number who've escaped injury or escaped from the fire with their lives is about 255. And crucially, the number for dead and missing remains at about 80, which is going to be controversial. Some people just don't believe that figure. But the police investigation continues, sifting through every bit of debris inside a tower where the temperature reached 1,000 degrees, and also investigating 60 or so companies involved in the maintenance and refurbishment of Grenfell Tower. As Stuart Cundy, who's a commander of the Metropolitan Police, put it, you can't listen to the families and the 999 calls, he said, and not want to hold people to account for a fire that should not have happened. Sophie.
Tom, thank you.
So the Grenfell Tower fire triggered the largest review of building safety in the United Kingdom since the Second World War, and in particular the cladding systems put on many of the country's tower blocks. Two major insulation components have been identified as part of the investigation into how the fire spread. Tonight, Channel 4 News can reveal that a third key product was used in Grenfell's cladding system, never revealed to the public before. And so far, it hasn't been examined in other buildings, raising serious questions about the fire safety investigations carried out since the blaze. Our science editor, Tom Clark, has this report.
It's 3 weeks since the worst building fire in the UK since the Second World War. Two major components of Grenfell Tower's cladding system have been identified as possible causes of the spread of the fire. Rainobond, the outer metal and plastic casing, and Celotex, the insulation layer beneath. It triggered the largest review of Britain's buildings, in particular the cladding put on many of the country's tower blocks. Nearly 200 high-rises have been identified at risk. Channel 4 News can reveal that a third key product was used in the cladding system on Grenfell Tower, one not known to the public before, nor was it being looked for, as far as we know, on other buildings across the UK. That raises enormous questions about the investigation into the fire that happened here, but also the screening for materials in cladding systems across the UK. Kingspan cool therm insulation is on Grenfell Tower. And how do we know it? Because you can see it. On the lower half of the building, on the side least ravaged by fire, one section of foil cladding, damaged but still roughly intact, can be seen, which is clearly identifiable as a third-party product, never previously acknowledged by the authorities. The Celotex RS5000 insulation we previously knew was placed on Grenfell Tower has since been removed from sale for use on high-rise buildings. Kingspan Cool Therm, like Celotex, is also combustible. Last month we tested both products. In this independent lab, we exposed the insulation to temperatures comparable with an established fire. Celotex, made of polyisocyanurate or PIR, caught fire almost instantly. The Kingspan material, a phenolic foam, behaved in just the same way. Our simple test was just to demonstrate combustibility. Both products have passed official fire certification tests that allow them to be recommended for use in high-rise buildings. But these only apply when the insulation is tested as part of an entire cladding system. And that represents a problem for the government investigation. What do you test if you don't know what was on the building?
That information should be readily available.
Does it surprise you that we only found out now that in fact one of the materials is completely different to that which is specified in those documents, as we understand it?
Unfortunately not, because the number of times that you go on sites and you have a look at these manuals, and when you actually open up, you find something entirely different has been built.
In a statement, Kingspan told us,
Kingspan was not aware at any time prior to the fire that a small quantity of our product was supplied by a third party to the Grenfell Tower contractor.
And it added,
"We are extremely surprised to find our insulation product may have been used alongside a different PIR insulation product, as it would be hard to understand how a route to compliance could be achieved using a mixture of insulation products. The use of Cooltherm K15 in construction systems that are non-compliant with building regulations would never be acceptable to Kingspan. Properly installed and specified, our products deliver safe, reliable and energy-efficient insulation solutions."
the contractor for Grenfell Tower's refurbishment, Ryden plc, referred us to its subcontractor, Harley Facades Limited, which fitted the cladding. Harley Facades did not respond to our questions. The two bodies responsible for the investigation, the Metropolitan Police and the Department for Communities, both declined our request for comment. The DCLG has said it will conduct fire testing on a range of cladding systems. Insulation, which may well have played a role at Grenfell, will be included. And you can clearly see it on what remains of Grenfell Tower. Charred blocks of the installation material still clinging to the side of the building. And down the street below, fragments of it still blowing around, clearly burnt away. Products in cladding systems have been shown to be fire safe if tested in the right combinations. But the investigation will have to establish what went wrong here before establishing whether it could happen anywhere else.
Well, Scotland Yard has been giving fresh updates on the Grenfell investigation, saying the disaster should never have happened and police are determined to hold people to account. Our senior Home Affairs correspondent Simon Israel is outside Grenfell Towers now. Simon, what is the latest on this?
Good evening, Kathy. Well, tonight, police now estimate that the block behind me housed some 350 residents. And we now know that of those, 255 survived, 14 were not in the block on the night of the fire. So that leaves roughly a working total, I'm very sorry, that's a horrible expression, of those who've died at around about 80. Now that total has been controversial for the last 3 weeks, but police have really tried to nail down exactly how many people may have died in the fire. That is not confirmed, but that is a rough total. And of those, 32 identities have now been found and confirmed. So, but it's getting harder, I have to say. And it's getting harder because what they're working with now is just sheer devastation, because the temperatures, we now understand, that got as high that night as 1,000 degrees Celsius.
We have officers, specialist officers, who are in Grenfell Tower now and will be in there 7 days a week, who by hand will be searching through all of the debris and the devastation that the fire's left behind. Now that's a really significant task for them. We estimate there's about 15.5 tonnes of debris in each floor of Grenfell Tower. We will go through that by hand to recover all those identifiable human remains and recover them to the mortuary.
Now, local people here dispute those numbers. They have their own lists, and they're estimating that the total may be as high as 120. But while that's going on, there is a criminal investigation going on parallel to this, and that is getting larger and larger. There have been no arrests, no search warrants issued, but they've obtained thousands upon thousands of documents from an estimated 60 companies, and the witness list is simply growing and growing. It's numbers more than 1,000 at the moment, but that is going to get much, much bigger. And we are now facing, as one officer described today, probably outside of counter-terrorism, the largest ever criminal investigation that the Metropolitan Police has ever undertaken.
Simon, thank you very much.
I've been